Hi, my name is Donna Przewski, and my digital story focuses on how to improve language proficiency among our learners at our institute. My institute is a vocational institute. The name is Al Jazeera Institute of Science and Technology, and as such, we train and prepare students for the workplace. As a vocational institute, I believe that more can be done to get our students outside of the classroom and engaged into action that can help them to develop their English language proficiency. One way that this can be done is through volunteer opportunities. This way, the learners will not only be able to develop their skills that are needed for the workplace, but they will also build their language skills. Two organizations that I think are sound organizations that can help them to do this are Emirates Red Crescent and Family Development Foundation. I chose these two organizations because they're centrally located and they're within easy reach of the school, being only 2 minutes away. Now, what we can do is form liaisons with these organizations, and we can have an exchange where students work there for maybe 2 to 3 hours a day, maybe 2 times a week. So, how would we document what our students are doing? This would be done through portfolio documentation. Now, the Red Crescent, as I mentioned before, is centrally located, but the work that it does is very far reaching. This organization, for example, worked with refugees in Syria, and they, as recently as January, donated a whopping 177 million to aid in relief for refugees in Syria. The money was used in areas such as providing clothing, food parcels, and medical supplies. Now, this is a great way for our students to see that organizations such as this do not only work within local communities but extends its branches into areas of need in other countries. The second organization is the Family Development Foundation. This organization helps women and their families, primarily women who are displaced, experiencing health issues, or are divorced or abused. They also work with newly married women in helping them to adjust to the role of wife and eventually as mothers. Now, this organization also provides training in terms of health, exercise, good nutrition, and so on. So, this is also another way that our students can volunteer, develop their language in these areas, and find out what the workplace setting is really like. As I mentioned, the students would be required to keep portfolios. And as they are required to keep portfolios, it would not be a new requirement for them because in courses such as environmental health and safety and also project management, they are already required to keep portfolios. The thing with this organization or this plan that I have for volunteerism is because teachers in later stages like stage 6 and stage 5, where the students are actually going out into work placement into their different fields of study, often complain that the students at that level, stage 5 and stage 6, have not developed their language enough. So my proposal is that these students that I am speaking about would be at a stage 1, stage 2, or stage 3 level, and they would be getting the language development at that early stage as well as the workplace setting experience. One of the ways that I encourage my students to extend their language is at the beginning of the term, instead of having them do just short introductions, I have them use collages to represent themselves. So this is an activity where the students are actually creating collages that represent themselves, and after they create the collage, they actually share out. So an introduction that would probably take 30 seconds to 1 minute instead takes about 2 to 3 minutes. So this is an example of them extending their learning. In summary, what I want for the students is to not focus on what and how. Those are very good questions to ask, but I want them to focus on why. Why do they need to develop their language skills, especially as they are in their own countries, but why do they need to do it? How can it help them to progress through their careers and through the stages as they study at Al Jazeera Institute? Why is this such a push? Because this is what the government expects of them. They want them to be able to not only work in a setting where they're comfortable, but be proficient enough in the English language so that they can compete globally. So we're getting them to think differently, and because they're not just observers of organizations such as Red Crescent and family development organizations, they are now actors because they're actively involved in it. So now English has become not only something that they learn in the classroom, it becomes an active, contextual, and situational practice instead of being static and disconnected. So because they're developing their language through volunteer activities, they become more confident and they now develop the attitude that we can do it. Thank you for your time.